Welcome back, everyone. We've been on this incredible mystical tour of the world, haven't we? We've gone from the wild shamanism of Siberia all the way to the Amazon. Well, this time, we're diving deep into the world of the Toltecs to explore a concept that is just incredibly powerful, the inner fire.
So let's just get right to the biggest question from the get-go. When we talk about an inner fire, are we just using a nice poetic metaphor for things like, passion or motivation? Or are we talking about a real, actual, tangible force that you can feel inside of you? To figure that out, here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what this fire really is. Then, you'll see it's actually a universal energy that tons of cultures have talked about. After that, I'll walk you through 2 super practical techniques you can try today. And then, and this is my favorite part, we'll see how this ancient mysticism lines up with modern neuroscience. Finally, we'll learn the secret to taking this energy and pairing it with our own intent to make it truly powerful. Okay, let's tackle that first big question head on. When the Toltecs talk about a fire burning within us, are they just being poetic, or are they talking about something real? Let's find out. According to Toltec wisdom, this is no illusion. It's not a metaphor at all. It is a real, living force. Think of it as this fundamental energy that's been there in the deepest part of you since before your mind or your personality even started to form. It's just dormant, kind of like it's waiting in the wings for us to finally pay attention to it and wake it up. Now here's what I think gives this idea so much weight. Isn't some concept unique to the Toltecs? Not at all. This idea of an inner energy is a universal human experience, and you find it in traditions all over the globe. For instance, in ancient Hindu texts, they call it tapas, this inner heat that's generated by pure awareness. In Persian mysticism, it's azare nahan, which means the hidden fire in a seeker's heart. And in Buddhist traditions, it's known as tejas, the inner brilliance you can only see when your mind gets really quiet. The names change, right? But they are all pointing to the exact same thing, a living energy inside us. Okay, so if this energy is real, how in the world do we actually feel it? Well, this is where we get to the fun, practical part. I'm going to walk you through 2 really simple but surprisingly powerful techniques to start awakening the physical sensations of this fire in your own body. All right, the first one is called the grounding circuit. All you do is sit comfortably and put all of your attention on your right big toe. Now the key here, and this is really important, is not to force anything. Just rest your awareness there, almost like you're shining a soft flashlight on it. Then, you gently guide whatever sensation you feel, maybe a warmth, a little pulse, up towards your pelvis. This part is crucial. It's like opening a drain and letting all that stagnant, tired energy flow out. From the pelvis, you guide that energy down to your left big toe, and boom, you've completed the circuit. You're just going to repeat that 5 times, patiently, moving the energy with your awareness, not with your muscles. Technique number 2 is the sky connection circuit. This time, you're going to imagine a bright point of energy, like a little drop of liquid light, just floating an inch or 2 above the crown of your head. Using your attention, you draw that energy down into your body, toward your abdomen, which is a major energy center. And from there, a more powerful cycle begins. You guide the energy from the crown of your head down to the very base of your spine and then back up to the abdomen. You're basically forming an energy triangle inside your torso. And just like before, you repeat this cycle 5 times with a calm focus. And this is where things get truly fascinating. You can look at these 2 simple exercises from completely different angles, ancient mystical traditions and modern neuroscience. And what's so amazing is that they seem to be telling the exact same story, just in 2 different languages. Now, before we dive into that, it's really important to clarify something from the source material. The neuroscience perspective we're about to talk about, it's a specialist's personal analysis meant to help us understand what might be happening. It's not meant to be seen as definitive, peer-reviewed scientific proof, okay? It's more of a framework for understanding.
Okay, get ready for this. So, the ancient view talks about grounding the body's energy. The modern neuroscience view suggests this is actually activating your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. When the mystics talk about unblocking stagnant energy, science is observing a drop in the stress hormone cortisol and a rise in feel-good hormones like serotonin. And what about harmonizing earth and sky energies? Well, that seems to correlate with increased coordination between the brain's hemispheres, shifting our brainwaves into these deep states of relaxation and creativity. It's wild.
And this quote just nails it, right? They describe the experience. Today's science is explaining the mechanism.
The ancients knew what it felt like. Today, we're just starting to figure out why it feels that way. It's not magic, it's biochemistry. So we've got this raw energy, this inner fire. Awesome. But just awakening it is only half the story. To actually use it, to make it powerful, we need another crucial ingredient: intent. So are they the same thing, or are they two different forces?
Well, they're really two sides of the same coin. The inner fire is the raw energy itself. It's the fuel in the engine. But on its own, it has no direction. Intent, well, that's the guiding force. It's the steering wheel that tells all that raw energy where to go and what to do.
The source gives us this absolutely perfect analogy for this. Think of the inner fire as the electricity flowing through all the wires in a building's walls. It has all this potential, right? Intent is you walking into a room and deciding to flip the specific switch for the reading lamp and not the one for the blender. You are giving that directionless energy a very specific purpose. You see, without intent, the fire is just a cool internal feeling, and without the fire, intent is just an empty wish. You need both.
So let's pull all of these threads together. We've seen that the inner fire is a real, universal energy. It's understood across countless cultures, and it can be awakened with really specific techniques that, as it turns out, have plausible roots in our own physiology. So the real key takeaway here is that true power, real change, comes from uniting that raw energy, the fire, with our focused awareness, with our intent. That's the secret sauce. And this kind of brings us to a final, pretty powerful thought. These traditions talk about connecting to earth energy through our feet and sky energy through the top of our head. But think about our daily lives. We walk on concrete, we wear shoes with plastic soles, we stare at screens for hours on end. We have literally insulated ourselves from these fundamental sources of energy. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what one small, conscious action can you take this week to start reestablishing that connection? I mean, maybe it's just walking barefoot on the grass for 5 minutes. Maybe it's standing outside under the open sky at night and really feeling that space above you. What happens when you start treating your body not just as a machine, but as a living bridge between the earth you walk on and the boundless sky above?